Hey everybody, I'm here. I think this is my second try at going live, so let's see if anybody can see me. I'm gonna get on my computer here and see if I can find this feed. We're gonna do some art journaling with Chalk Couture. I'm gonna use this fantastic transfer called Everything Changes. This was the March Club Couture. I'm not gonna use all of it. I'm definitely using the butterfly and either one of these words, but I'm not sure. We'll figure that out later. This is the art journal page we did yesterday, and I love the way it turned out. I love it even more today than I did yesterday. So if you didn't see that one, you could go back to yesterday's live and watch that one come to life. If you're here, please say hello so I know this is working. I'm trying to get my computer up and running here so I can make sure that everything's working right, because it took me twice to get this going. It's Wednesday, right? Happy Wednesday, everybody. My goodness, June's almost upon us. Let's see, I see a live button. Yes, all right, I'm gonna pull it up so that maybe I can see your comments if anybody is saying hello. Hey, there's Lisa and Anne-Marie. Hello, Callie. Janet is here. Awesome, awesome. What do you think? All right, this is my little book, my little chalk art journal that we've been kind of playing around in. So we're gonna open up a new page and I'm gonna do a double spread on this one. I better get a clip to hold this open because it wants to flop around. I want it to be really simple in the back, and I'm debating even paint, like what I want to do for paint in the background. So what I thought would be really cute is to put some kind of something in the background other than book page. I think the last time I did use book page, I found the tiniest bits of this colorful dot. If this is a napkin that I sell in the shop, and I've used it before, and this is what I have left of it. So we are going to use this. I'm just going to randomly, I don't know where, randomly place this down using some Mod Podge. Well, excuse me, this is not Mod Podge. This is Americana's Decoupage Medium. It is basically the same product as Mod Podge. It's just a different brand name. I shut off that light above my head because it gives too much of a shadow. So it works the same. So we're going to use this. Hey, Jenny, how are you, darling? Are you healing up well? Friend, I hope you're healing up well. I've had you on my mind and in my heart, so I hope you're feeling good lately. Have not used this in a while, but I want to use it up, so let's get to it. I think I'm just gonna kind of smush this around. Not smush, but you know what I mean. We're just gonna randomly place these little bits of napkin that I have left, just because the page is very blank. It has a lot of white space or parts on it that don't have any words. Oh, I think this got folded over. I want the whole dot if I can get it. So let's get this down on here first. And then I'll decide on if I want to add any more color or stenciling or anything, any more paint to the background. But we'll start with this. This decoupage medium is called Antique. So it has, I don't know if you can see it, it has a little bit of a brown tinge to it. Fine with me. I don't mind. It works the same. It just has a little bit of a brown tinge to it to make the stuff look a little bit more antique-y. So let's use it up. This one is bigger. I think I'm going to tear this in half. Oh. I may put it all in a row, but I wanted it torn so that it wasn't, so it didn't look like one perfect line, and this one's kind of smushed. I don't know if I glued that or, if that was a seam. I don't know what that is, but it was kind of stuck together right there, and we're just going to let it be that way. Now, I think I'm just going to put this one a little bit off so it doesn't look like one big straight row of dots. Love that the words show through so much. So I remind again, and yesterday, you guys, remember last spring, I discovered geocaching and started geocaching. And anytime Gannon and I were together, I kind of made him geocache with me. And he was not thrilled with the idea, but I love it. So I told him yesterday, it's geocaching season. He wasn't so happy. Oh, Ginny says it's slow healing, but getting there. Oh, good. Good. I hope it's not too troublesome. Hey, Diana, how are you? Hey, Jennifer, thanks for fluffing the nest. You're the best friend. You're the best. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate you. Okay. I have to decide now. The butterfly is going to go in the middle, but I feel like that's too plain. I could stencil. I could stamp. I could put more napkin. I have this paper. When I realized I was going to be using a butterfly, I thought about this paper. It's a Tim Holtz tissue wrap, it's called. Isn't that pretty? I don't, I'm going to have a butterfly. So I don't want the moth or the butterfly, but I could use some of the other parts of this. Like, this part here, right? The other thing is, just if you give me a second here, I have stamps that kind of look like this, where there's handwriting, there's typewriter fonts, there's some script. I have this stamp, which kind of mimics that, right? It's kind of like along the same line, and I could just stamp, but for some reason, I feel like the paper is more fun. This paper is called Tissue Wrap. It feels waxy to me. I don't know that it is waxy, but it doesn't feel like regular tissue paper. It is definitely sturdier. I don't need this much of it, so I'm going to roll some of it back up and just take a piece. Let's take this piece. It's just like, it is like a tinfoil container or a tissue saran wrap container. Okay, so if I just left the moth to itself and just took some of the other parts, that's what I think I'm going to do. I'll put this aside for a minute so I can hopefully, I don't want a straight line, otherwise I would use the ruler. I could use like this ruler with the jagged edges, but I don't want just a perfectly straight line like a ruler would give me. See if this will work. Yep, that worked. If I take bits of this and kind of smash it in here a bunch of places, just where the white is, it's just too plain for me. So let's see if this helps at all. Lisa says, we geocached for my son, was in Cub Scouts, and I think that was lots of fun. I asked him the other day if he wanted to do it again. Lisa, how old is your son? Gannon is 17. And he went with me reluctantly. I would say it's definitely not his choice of things to do, but he was with me. I think we had an orthodontist appointment in a different town, and so I had already geocached here by myself. So I said to him, well, we're in Grand Forks, let's geocache. He was like, what? What are we doing? So he's a good sport about it. He really does just put up with my antics for sure. So we do have fun with it. I had fun with him doing it, but I don't know if he would willingly choose it again. All right, this may, I don't know, girls. This may be enough. I'm not so sure. You see how the wet decoupage medium is really wrinkling out my book page? I don't mind it because it makes it feel super like grunge to me, and I like that. I like the wrinkles. See all that wrinkle right there? Maybe one little bitty piece up here somewhere. Let's see. Let's take more music. I don't want the straight edge. Maybe I'll put it like that. The straight edge against the straight edge of the book. I still feel like I'm recovering from the graduation party. I am exhausted. I don't know, why does that happen? I think it's because, like my husband said, you did more activity this past weekend than I have done in months, physical activity. I had an absolute ball. It was a joy to do it. It's like getting ready for a holiday or a wedding or a special occasion, the graduation party. It was a ton of work, but I was with my sister and friends, and it was an absolute joy. All right. I have my, I'm going to get under my table. I have my heating tool plugged in. heating tool plugged in under the table, and it's too far away. I need to move the plug. It's not, it took up too much of the cord. All right, that's better. So we're gonna dry this a little bit. Did I have something to put in the box? No, I didn't. No, we didn't have anything to put in. And actually, all of the ones that we found so far, Lisa, have been minis. Like one was a Tic Tac box. One was, what was the other one? Like a circle M&M box. Like they were teeny tiny. The paper and the pencil barely fit in. The ones that we found. We haven't found any bigger ones. All the ones that we have found have been micro ones. He's 19. Oh my gosh, like my son's 17. So close in age. What's everybody up to today? What have you caught? I was on Facebook a little bit. I caught my friend Michelle from the Vintage Daisy was creating, and so I caught her for a few minutes chatting away. But I started to look for any other creatives that are out there like doing stuff today on Facebook, and my page was filled with such gunk. My Facebook feed. It doesn't matter if I'm on my personal profile or the Comfy Nest profile. It is filled with such random gunk. I don't know what is going on, girls, with Facebook. This is the leftover paper from the book that we did yesterday. So I was kind of thinking maybe I should use it, but I don't like the look. So we're going to skip it. Okay, now, I don't know. Like the butterfly is going to go in the middle here. I think I need to smush some color on here. I was trying to avoid it, but just because I like the black and white, I don't think I can avoid it though. This is going to go right in the center here. I better put some gesso or something to make this more cohesive. It feels very, you know, we have the words from the book page. We have the tissue paper that has different words and musical notes, and then I have the dots. I like the combination, but it doesn't look cohesive at all. I'm going to grab a chair, and then I'm going to think on what do I want to use for color. I want it to be super neutral. Like here's that aloe that I had out yesterday. So that's very neutral. It's more of a green. I'm thinking about the colors that I have. Just give me a second. I'm going to go to my paint. I've just rolled back a little bit to my colors. I would want it to be like the gesso, super neutral. So if I grabbed my beige gesso, I'm going to use black ink. I'm going to use black ink. So if I did beige gesso, it kind of matches the antique, like the color is like coffee stained. They're both kind of remind me of a coffee stain. So maybe that's the best choice. I don't know if there's any left in there, to be honest with you. Let's see if we can squeeze out a little bit. It is feeling very, oh yeah, there's a little bit. Very thick and old. I've had it for a long time. I'm going to spray a little bit of water just to loosen it a little bit. Because I don't want full coverage. I just want a wash of color to make this all feel cohesive. So let's try this. I don't want to cover those words completely. Where's my, here's my golden fluid medium. So let's put a little bit of this. Oh, is it clogged? Imagine that. Imagine Gracie has a clog. Okay, think, Grace, think. What do you have to unclog? I usually use one of my pokey tools or my really fine tweezers to get in there and unclog. See if that'll work. Yep, it did it. So I'm gonna mix these two together, and it's just about making that more spreadable and thinner. I don't want, see, it's thinner now. So I have a color, but you can see it's not much coverage as the way I had it originally. So let's just go over the whole thing. It matches pretty well the linen decoupage medium I used. Big difference, right? You can always take a little off. You can use like a wet sponge or a wet paper towel to take some off if you have to. little bit more liquid medium here. Grab some more. I'm getting it worked into that brush real well. I gotta move the clip so I can at least get to the edge of the paper. I don't want to have a spot that was missed because there was a clip there. So I can still see the dots. I can still see the letters, the book page letters. I can still see the Tim Holtz paper, but now everything has a wash of this color on it, which makes it feel more cohesive than it was before. I may even add, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking maybe some splash of color. Maybe one of the colors that's in the dots. If I had an acrylic ink in that color, I could use that to maybe get some of that color on there. Let me just see what I have first before I do that. Let's wipe this down, put the cover on. Anybody else creating today? What's going on in your world? Gannon's heading off to work soon. Landon and Chris went to work at like 7 this morning. They were gone early. Diane is cleaning and hoping to play later today. Got poured back on and the air conditioner is fixed. Oh, power back on. Well, I'm glad your air conditioner is fixed. You need that. You're gonna need that for this summer, right? Hey, Tasha, how are you? Thanks for being here and thank you for sprinkling. I appreciate that. Hey, Karen. Hello, hello. Debbie is here. Hey, Debbie Moeller. How do you do black lines in the butterfly with the stencil? What do you mean, Lisa? Lisa, ask again. You'll see me do. I'll do it here in a minute. I'll do this here in a second. This definitely needs to dry, and I'm just debating whether I should add like a little bit of pink or orange. I'm looking at the colors of ink that I have. Let me just take a gander at what I got. Some of the colors I have are really, really bold colors. Let's just see. I'm gonna grab a piece of like scrap paper. This is the book I use usually to glue with. So let's take that, and I'm just gonna drop a little bit of this color and see how dark that is. But if I smush it around, this one's too purpley. It's too purpley, I think, but what if I took it up in my brush? Yeah, if I take it up in my brush that already has that other color, I could just put a little bit of that color around. See? So now it's not so purpley. It's not so crazy, right? All right, let me just take a peek. I'm looking at I have a bunch of distress inks and alcohol inks here. And I'm looking at the color options. This one is called Tattered Rose. That's more what I was thinking. Let's see what this one looks like. Ooh, that one looks more peach, but actually it matches my dots really well. So let me grab that up with my paintbrush. It got lost. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put a little bit of that here. I don't want a ton, and I don't want to spray it because it'll go in places I don't want it to. So I'm just gonna transfer a little bit of it with the dropper there, and then grab it with my brush. And let's focus on adding just a little more color, especially to the places where there's not a lot happening. So it doesn't look so blah. We don't want it to look blah. All right, let's just see what happens if I do this. When I play in these books, you guys, I do experiment a lot. Like, I don't know what's going to happen when I do that. Is it going to suck right in? Is it going to spread easily? But that's what part of the fun is all about, is like playing with the stuff that you have, seeing how it works together. And doing it in a book is a really safe environment. Like, you're not going to get in trouble. You're not going to get fired. Nobody's going to yell at you or judge you for your playtime in your art journals. So don't be afraid to just play. Just play. I could spray. what happens if I spray this? It's going to go all over the place. I think I better dry this before I even try. I really like this color on there. This one was, if I just sprayed this, it was just way too dark, way too purple. I really do like the Tattered Rose. So I added some of both in here. And I mixed it in with that little gesso mix that I had there, so it wasn't so, the color wasn't so vibrant. But now maybe I'll also spray some of that Tattered Rose on here. Hello, Spirit. How are you? Paula says, I'm sitting on the beach and watching. Paula, you lucky duck. What's the weather like? What beach are you at? How exciting. I'm jealous. I wish I lived by a beach. I'm a beach girl. I love the beach. I don't go in the water other than up to my knees because I'm too afraid of the water. But I do love sitting in a shaded, you know, under an umbrella or something on the beach with the ocean breeze and listening to the birds and watching the birds, watching the kids play in the sand. I just think it's so relaxing. So good for you. All right, right here is feeling a little bit too much white right here. I missed a spot, so I'm gonna just dab on a little bit of color on these edges. It feels pretty dry. I'm gonna splash some. I'm gonna splash a little of this on. Spray, splash. What's the right word? I don't know. But right in here. I'm gonna put this behind here to catch any of the overage. And let's just see, because that's pretty dry. Something kind of dramatic would be. It's a light color, so dramatic is, you know, we're not going to get that dramatic. There. All right, let's see if we can get that to dry and stay in position. Oh, now we're really looking pink. But I like it. We're doing black on top of this. The butterfly will be black, so I really want it to stand out well. Spirit, what are you up to today, darling? Anybody else? I asked if anybody else was catching any other creatives. I feel really, since the graduation and since I've not been feeling well, I haven't been able to be as active. So the lives, when I'm live in the Craft Therapy Club, in the paid membership group, and with the subscribers, those are the supporters of the page. I do that every Friday. And I really haven't missed anything with them, but it leaves little energy for this, you know, for the public page, right? Plus I do something on YouTube every Friday. So it's just a lot. It's a lot. And when you don't feel good, I really feel like I have to pace myself. So I feel really out of touch, like I haven't been in touch with you guys very much, which I don't like. And this is still feeling a little too white to me, like I want a little more color in here. I think I'm going to end up coming in with something dark around the edges and framing it like I usually do. Okay, that's kind of a hot, that tool is kind of hot. I think I still have some wetness over here. I'm going to just try to do this. Oh, yep, you can see it. Testing where the wetness is coming from. It's coming from right in this corner. What do you think of this? This seems really bold, but I think when I put the butterfly on, it's going to get lost. It's going to get, like, it's going to go more toward the background. Now, before I put down the transfer, the sticky transfer, right? Before I put it down on here, I need to put a top coat so that, or some wax, so that this doesn't stick on so strongly that it tears up my pages that I just glued down, or the book page itself. I don't want it to tear the book page. So we're going to put a nice coat of this on and then dry it, and then we'll be ready to chalk. Now, this is, don't do what I do, okay? Oh, let's use this one. I was just going to stick this paint brush in there that has paint on it, which I would not advise, but I do it anyway because I'm kind of a lazy girl. This one is the one that I had the decoupage medium on. So I'll just use that. Now this is just about protecting what's underneath and protecting the sticky transfer from sticking too strongly to it. So I'm being kind of liberal here, putting a lot to make sure that we have a nice barrier, a nice protective barrier. I get so much joy out of working from a book, working out of a book. It's just so much fun. That should be enough. Thanks for sprinkling, Jerry. I appreciate you. Jennifer says, I watched Michelle at the Vintage Daisy earlier, but no other creatives today. Me either, Jennifer. I was at Michelle too, but I didn't see any other creatives today either. The stuff that's showing up on my feed. So, you know, you go and like and follow all these pages that you want to like and follow. And then the stuff that shows up on my feed is like weird videos of just random things. Random things that don't seem to apply to me at all. It's the strangest thing. It's so strange. Okay, so I just want to say, because, oh, I have a little like glue booger right there, like a chunk of, it's, I think it's from the lid of the decoupage medium. It's just like a little chunk. I think I would say with this, if you wanted to add something, we're going to put the butterfly on and maybe part of this phrase. I'm either going to, I won't fit all of it. Everything changes. Nothing is permanent. I don't think I'll fit it all. So I'll put one or the other. But once you've done that, if you want to add more, another layer of something, I think a stencil with circles, even if they're different size, different shape. When I say different shape circle, like maybe they're like wrap around, like, I know, that sounded weird, didn't it? A different shape. What I mean like is sometimes you have stencils that are circles, but the circle looks, you know, it's a representation of a circle that's like a swirl or something, or dotted circles, or a different version of a circle shape. Anything like that would be great on here because you already have the circles going. Paula watched Debbie on Swag Makers earlier. What was Debbie working on? What was Debbie working on? I love Michelle's new space that she's created for herself. I said to her, I don't know if Jennifer, you saw that in the comments. I said, I'm kind of jealous of the amount of space she has. Well, my sister was here and she came into this room, my craft space. She was like, I can't believe how small this is. Yeah, my space is really small. It is not very big. But it seems as though Michelle has a nice big space to work in. This is going to have to get fuzzed immensely. So I'm going to go down to my bottom drawer here and grab my fuzzing cloth. And we are going to fuzz the heck out of this. I could cut the butterfly out because I want to use the butterfly separately from, and I'm not going to use any of the flowers. Separately from the words and not any of the flowers. But I'm not going to do that because if I ever want to use this as a whole design, I want all of the pieces together. So this is what we're going to do. I know, Jennifer, right? Her space is beautiful. And all of those organized shelves, like just, Jennifer, I was looking at the you know, she has those plastic drawers behind her and it looks like she has, you know, those plastic drawers that are a three stack drawer. I didn't count them, but I don't know, were there 15 of them or so, 16 of them? She just had so many. I was thinking it has to be a big space to fit all that. I mean, it's just beautiful. Looks so nice. All those cubbies and all those drawers to organize everything. I do not have that. I do not have that. Do not, but I wish I did. I feel very removed from everybody right now. I haven't been able to watch any of my creative friends or talk to any of you in the comments of their lives because the whole weekend was dedicated to Landon's graduation and being with family, which is all good. That's all good stuff. But I do feel very removed. I miss you guys. It still feels super sticky to me. I'm going to fuzz some more on my shirt. Let me just see if I get any better luck on my shirt. Okay, wait, Ginny, I missed what Ginny said. Ginny said, I'm trying to watch as many replays as I can that I missed. I still can't craft, but I have lots and lots of notes for catching up. Good for you, Ginny. That's a good way to stay organized. So, especially so you can feel like, okay, you've missed some things because you've been recovering from your surgery. But now you have notes, so you know where to go back to find the things that are most exciting for you to do, which is fantastic. What a good idea. Okay, it still feels really sticky. I love that we can see through these new transfers because I can see exactly where it's going to go and exactly what it's going to look like on the page. I may, if I went over here to the right a little bit, I could probably take the everything changes and go in this corner. I think that's what I'm going to do. In fact, maybe I should do the everything changes first so that when I place the butterfly, I'm sure it's in a good place. I'm going to do it like kitty corner in this corner up here. Everything changes. I'm just going to press on that. I'm not pressing on anything else. I'm not even going to try to press that hard because, again, if you are doing this on your own, I would highly recommend this. I just put the Decoupage Medium top coat on, the sealer, and I forced it dry with my heating tool. I would recommend that you not do that, that you let it dry at its own pace and that you walk away and let it cure for like, I don't know, 8, 12 hours, maybe the next day go back and then do your chalking because you're going to have less chance of things sticking or coming up. Okay, you'll have better success once it's more cured than it is right now on my table. Now, there is a heck load of paste here that I do not want to throw out. So I'm going to scrape it off this lid because I'm kind of that kind of girl. I'm a frugal girl. I don't want to throw it out. I use black a lot. So let's get this off of here and either use it on this design or put it back in the pot. Okay. Now this is a mess. It's getting all over me. I'm making a mess, girls. Imagine that. In my limited space, I'm going to move a couple things around. I'm going to put this on my scrap paper. If I throw, I don't have a liner in my garbage right now, so if I throw it in my garbage, it's going to make a mess in my garbage. Where did my thing go? Here it is. All right, everything changes. That's all I want to do right now. Oops. Stay still, please. I don't even think, there are little dots next to the letters, and I'm going to skip the dots too. Okay, I got that done. I'm going to scrape off as much as I can because it doesn't need to just be there. It'll take a minute to dry if I leave it on there, and it will take longer to clean it. We have, look at, I got bleed through right there. We got bleed through. I'm going to try to erase it. Here's what I'm going to try to do. Paper towel. Now we just put a top coat on. So I'm going to take a paper towel. I'm going to wet my finger and I'm going to try it because it's really bad. Like if it's just a little bit, I don't mess with it. But while it's still wet, put a little water on here. I don't have any Q-tips handy. Of course not. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? Come on, Gracie. I'm really making a mess of it now, girls. Hold on. I'm going to grab a tiny little brush or a smallish brush, and I'm going to wet it. And I'm going to use this to pick up the color. Because I have a little more control over the brush. See that? Now, thankfully, the top coat that we put on there is protecting the paper underneath and is allowing me to do a little erasing here, right? I could even use a smaller brush than that. So I'm just putting a little water on my table and then taking the water up in my brush and then using the brush to, while it's still wet is the best time to do this because it's easy to move. And you can see I can just kind of brush it away and pick it up with the towel. See that? Now I'll be able to redo that once everything's dry. I'll let all of that dry and then I'll come back in and just do that letter. Your little brushes really come in handy for something like this, like a little recovery like that. Okay. Phew. Hey, Lisa, how are you? I see Lisa Boone. Wait a minute. I think, there she is. I'll unhide your comment. There you go. It got hidden by Facebook. Deb Fineline crackled a rice paper picture of a lady's face that said, Godfidence. Oh, interesting. I haven't seen that rice paper. Oh, thanks, Janet. You're so sweet. Oh, Lisa, that's a great idea. She said she takes a screenshotted picture of the things that she wants to recreate. Good, then you have them on your phone. You can even put them in a folder if you're real organized. That looks so funny with the R missing. I'm actually starting to think, just to be funky, wouldn't it be great to stamp an R in there? Instead of stenciling it in with the transfer, what if I could find an R in my letters, you know, my stamps, and just stamp it in. I could even stamp it in a different color, like the pink or the peachy color. That would be cool. Okay, see this? Still has... I got to put this back down, and I don't want this to smudge anything, and I don't want that to smudge. So I really need to make sure this is dry. I can see that it's still a little bit wet. So I'm going to hold these two up next to each other and keep working on them, because I can see they have to be dry. I'm using the heated tool, just a note, just in case you've not heard anybody tell you this before. As a warning, ideally you would use a drying tool, not a heating tool, not an embossing tool, because you do not want to melt. You do not want to melt your transfer. So I'm keeping it kind of far away and using the warm air to dry this. But the Chalk Couture drying tool, the teal long and skinny one, that is ideal because it has very, very, very little heat. It's more like it has a little warmth, but it's not hot. This thing is a heating tool, so it will burn something. So be very careful that you don't burn or melt anything on your project, okay? All right, now I'm going to check this again. There's my lid, my messy lid. I'm going to take this scrap paper and put it down, and I'm just going to run my finger and make sure nothing black, see, nothing black came up, so I'm in good shape. Now I have to test this and make sure this is dry. I don't go back and forth when I test it, because if it is wet and you go like that, it's going to smear on you. So instead of doing that, I very carefully just dab my finger, and if no black comes up, I know it's okay. All right, that's in good shape. So the butterfly now, I think it's going to go, I want most of it on the right side. It doesn't even have to be straight. Do I want it this way? I think I will do it straight, even though it doesn't have to be straight. Now we have a little trick here, a little tricky, because we have this crease of the book, right? So be careful about that. Just take your time. I'm going to try to use something. Ow, I just poked myself with a blade. I'm going to try to use something to just kind of push in. I'm not like, you know, like jamming it into the creases, but I do want to push it in, mostly so that we don't have any, when I push the paste through the silk screen, I don't want to have gobs of paste like I did up there. I don't want to have gobs of paste. I want it to lie flat and not like pool in this crevice. So I'm going to be very light here with the paste. I'm not going to put gobs of it in there. And I'm going to be careful to make sure that I got really good contact between the transfer and the book page to try to avoid that. Okay. So I don't have a whole lot of paste on here, so I guess I'll start right here. And I'm going to come like this direction. I'm going to pull it, rather than pushing it into that book crease, I'm going to pull it away like this. A little bit. You see how little I had on that squeegee and how much of the butterfly I got to do with it? Look, that's a lot. It goes a long, long way. So I You don't need a lot of it. Concentrating. Can't talk and concentrate on this at the same time. It's the kind of girl I am. Kind of a focus. I need focus. I'm not very good at multitasking. I know people say you should get good at multitasking, but I've never been a fan. I like to do one thing at a time and really focus on it. It's just kind of my style. I don't want any pooling paste, but we'll see. I mean, it pooled on that one letter, the R. Part of the challenge is that my book page got really gnarly and curled up from the liquids. So there are some places where the book, you know, it's not completely flat. It's kind of ridged, has crevices. Here again, from the book crease out. Is it going to be perfect? Heck no. Gracie did it. But it'll be great. It'll still look great. All right, here we go. Oh, I got some right there. That kind of leaked. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Isn't it pretty? Okay, I got a little leak right here. You can see in this spot right here. So same process. Wet little brush, paper towel. The brush, you don't want it dripping. You just want it damp. So you can come in here and grab at that black that just kind of oozed where it shouldn't go. And I'm just brushing it gently and putting the excess in the paper towel. This is a nice thing about working with paste that's erasable. If you're on a non-porous surface like a mirror, glass, hard plastics, stainless steel, like anything that's non-porous, you'll be able to clean up easily your project if you have any bleed throughs. And that includes a book page if you have put a sealer on it like I just did. So this is what's allowing me to do my cleanup, is the sealer. I think right here, I think that's also a little leakage. I don't think that's supposed to be there. It looks very shaped, like very round, but I don't think that that little blob right here is supposed to be there. See how easy that is? Tiny old little brush. That is beautiful. I love the polka dots so much with the, you know, the pastel polka dots with the black. I love it so much. I'm going to just hang tight. I'm going to cover my paste so I don't get any mess anywhere. And I'm going to look for an R that's different than my paste, just because I think it would be funky. Hold on, girls. Gannon's going to work soon. Okay. Now that little R, like if I had a stamp, like I'm sure I have letters, right? So if I found a stamped R that was about the same size, wouldn't that be cool? I do. Let me just look for it. I found my letters. I just had to find the R. Where's my R? Here it is. Just like right underneath everything, of course. How funny would that be? Or I would like it to be even more different. Let me think about something here. What if I used... How funky would that be if I grabbed that R and just stuck it in there? It's actually the font is very similar to the font that Chalk Couture used. This one is different, but it would fit. So should I stamp it or should I use the washi tape? Hey, Ganman. Susan! Hey, Susan McMichael. How are you, friend? Thanks, Debbie. Yeah, the tip for cleaning up, Paula. Hopefully that gives you, like, for anybody who hasn't seen that before, when you're using Chalk Couture on paper projects, paper crafting, as long as you've got that top coat on there, you really will have good luck cleaning up with a little brush and water and a paper towel. It's really not that hard to do. So I'm glad you got to witness that, and hopefully you just kind of stow it away in your toolbox as like, oh, that's one thing I can do. I'm going to cut this R out. And thankfully, washi tape is repositionable, so if I put it down there and we don't like it, we can take it off. But how cool would it be and different? I love it. I love it. I'm going to use it. I love it. I love that it stands out because it's on a white tape background. I think it's funky and fun. Why not? Now, I have the other words on this transfer. Nothing is permanent. I could, you know, you could fit it. I actually could fit it somewhere on here, like the nothing is permanent, but I really just like it the way it is, which is another example of how when you're getting your transfers, when you're shopping for transfer designs, if there's one part of the design that you absolutely love, even if you're not in love with all the other stuff, you can pick apart and just use one word or phrase, or just use the butterfly like I did here. You don't have to use it all in its entirety as it was designed. You can redesign it and pick what you want to use in your journals the way that you want to use them. Okay, so I'm thinking I need to stamp this with the 29th because it is the 29th. I'm loving this page so much. I am debating about putting some darkness around the edges. Let's see. Sometimes I come in with a Stabilo All or like a charcoal pencil or something and put some darkness around the edges. I think though the Stabilo pencil may even be too much. So let me see about, what if I used my ink pad and I didn't use black? What if I used just a little bit of gray with the dauber? Let me find my black dauber. I think this is it. And what if I came around and just mucked up, not even all of the edges. What if I just did some of the corners? Just, it'll look like a, you know, in your photo editor on your phone, how you could choose, what is it called? I think it's called vignette or something, isn't it? Like where you can just add that darkening around the edges of your photo. Is that what it's called? Does anybody remember? What if I come in and do that? I think it's just going to make it a little more mystical, a little more warm. The Stabilo All pencil, I love using it and I use it a lot, but I feel like on this project it would just be a little bit too, bam, like too much, too bold, too much in your face. Oh, thanks there, Janet. Thank you for saying that. Kimberly, I like, she asked about putting the flower on there. You absolutely can when you're creating. Oh, it looks like I need to glue some pages together. This one is just very thin. I'll probably glue these together like that so that it feels a little more substantial. You absolutely can, Kimberly. That's the beauty of it. You can add or take away anything that you want when you're doing it. I'm going to leave the flowers off because I really love the polka dots kind of showing and the musical notes showing. So I think I'm going to keep them off, the flowers. But that's what I was trying to point out, is that you have total control. Even though a lot of times these Chalk Couture transfers come with a design, it's already designed for you. I think they even added to the filters on Chalk Couture, like the one and done. Like you just put it down, you chalk it, and you're done. You don't have to think anything about it. But if you're feeling like you want a little more control and you want to decide what you use and what you don't use, today's project is a really good example of that, where you can pick and choose the elements that you want to use. Okay, I moved it and then I forgot that I moved it. So I'm going to add a little bit more of this. See in here, I think I'm going to come in and muck it up a little. Like just adding a little bit of grunge so it's not so perfect. I'm going to test this and see if it's really dry. It's not, it's a little bit damp, so I better be careful not to touch my butterfly. I'm coming in and I'm just putting a little bit of gray in the parts that don't have a lot going on. It just looks messy. It looks grungy, which you know I love. I love me a little grunge. You could get a stencil, like I said, if you had a circle stencil or dots stencil, you could come in and add a layer of stamped or stenciled dots in these. Like this is a very open space. There's not a lot going on here. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to grunge it up a little bit because I think it helps it's helping that butterfly really stand out. I love it. This might be my favorite part about it. The messed up R that I grabbed from my washi tape might be the best thing. I think I should probably put a little glue behind that washi tape though. Where's my permanent glue stick? Where'd you go, darling friend? You're hiding on me. I'm going to add a little bit of this, I think, because I don't want that ever to pop off of there. And washi tape is not permanent. Come on, I know you want to. I tested it. If it's great, I'm going to put a little bit of glue and place it back down. I've been struggling with my eyes lately. I think I need to go back to the eye doctor. Can't grab it with the tweezer because I can't see. I feel like I need my readers on all the time now. I think my reader prescription has changed. There. Now it'll be permanent, and we know that won't go anywhere. Woo. I feel like I have butterfingers. Everything's falling all over the place. Paula, I'm so glad. Thank you for saying that. That's a sweet compliment. She said, this is so pretty. I love it. Kim, you love the polka dots? Aren't they fun? They're just really whimsical, and they add, everything on the page is really neutral, right? We have the chalky gesso is tan, or beige it's called, black and white paper, the black and white book page, and black paste. So these little bitty pastel dots, polka dots, they really add a really welcome, to me it's very welcome. It reminds me of citrus colors like grapefruits and oranges and lemons, and it feels like a really welcome pop of color on the page that's not too bold. Oh, I'm so glad you guys love it. I hope that you try using your Chalk Couture products in a book, in a journal. As we've been going through the weeks, I'm showing you a variety of ways that you can use this was just the Chalk Couture patterned stencil that I used on that one. Showing you a variety of ways that you can use the stencils that you're getting and use your paste inside books. Particularly when I say with paper crafting, I love to art journal and work in books, but you could absolutely, if you're a card maker, you can absolutely transfer this knowledge, the kind of things that I'm doing in this art journal, to scrapbooks or making greeting cards for people, like birthday cards and get well cards and things, or making stationery or things like that for yourself. Yeah, Paula, that occurred to me too. That occurred to me too when she's saying that the fact that the R is different represents the change, just like the butterfly. Like everything changes. It's okay that it's different. It's okay that you're going to be different next year than you are this year, or that you're different this year than you were last year. You're still important. You're still valuable. You're still loved just for who you are. Hello, Sue. How are you, friend? Oh, thanks, Kimberly. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, do me a favor, girls. If you have a chance, if you can think of somebody who's a Chalk Couture fan who may enjoy, or just somebody who may enjoy art journaling in general and the kind of my style or my techniques, please spread this out there, sprinkle it out there, spread the blessing, however you want to say it. It really does help a lot for me to meet new people. So I appreciate that. I hope you guys have a beautiful, blessed Wednesday. I will see you next time here on The Comfy Nest with Grace. Bye.